Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to go through the materials you're going to find in the course information / syllabus section of Brightspace. The course syllabus is posted here in Microsoft Word or PDF format, whichever is easier for you. I'm just going to open the PDF. I want to highlight a couple of things from the syllabus. First thing is please go through the entire document and read the entire document on your own. It explains my policies for the course as well as what your responsibilities are. But I want to highlight a couple of things. First thing is my contact information. As I mentioned in the previous video, you'll find my contact information excuse me, on the Brightspace homepage. It has my office hours and a link to schedule time with me. The next thing I want to mention is our book. The book is an e-book available through Brightspace. There's a link through Brightspace. It is Microsoft Office 365 in Practice version 2021, and it is packaged with something called SimNet. SimNet is the online tool that will provide you with course materials, including assignments, etc. So the book is mandatory for the course. So you cannot opt out of the materials. Keep in mind that this package is provided as part of Wolfpack. Wolfpack is just our book service, and the cost of the book is included in your tuition. So if you want more information on Wolfpack, you can click on this link here. But again, I just want to emphasize that the book is mandatory because there are assignments embedded in this online tool called SimNet. You will need to download Microsoft Office 365. It's available to you as a student of SUNY Niagara for free. I will provide more information throughout Brightspace on how to do that. This course covers computer applications. So the applications that we cover are the Microsoft Office tools. It will be Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Access, and Microsoft PowerPoint. You may have had some exposure to these in the past. You might have used one of the Google applications, Google Sheets, Google Docs. They are very similar, but Microsoft has been around for a very long time and they are very robust, which means, there's just a lot of functionality in there, a lot to learn. Okay, so another thing I want to highlight about your course, and I see I have a little typo that I'm going to have to fix. Your breakdown of your grade. So your grade is made up of 4 parts. The first part is discussions. This should say 10%. I will fix that, but it's 10% of your grade. A discussion is I will give you an article to read or a video to watch. I will ask you to comment on that or answer a question, and then I will ask you to comment on a fellow student, one of your classmates. Discussions are not accepted late because past the due date, the topic becomes irrelevant. So please keep in mind the due dates and take a look at your course schedule. Your quizzes. Your quizzes are 10% of your grade. There are 4 quizzes that you'll need to take, one for each application, one for Word, one for Excel, Access, PowerPoint. And the quizzes will be open for 48 hours. They must be taken on the dates that they are scheduled. I cannot accept these late, so please pay attention to the calendar, read your emails and announcements and all that good stuff. The other 2 sections of your grade, the first one is called a sim book. A sim book is an excerpt of your book, so it will be some reading, and then it will be a short activity for you to complete. And the sim book is where you're going to see a lot of the how to perform tasks in each of the applications. As far as the sim books goes, I will accept these up to 5 days late with a penalty of 5%. This is 35% of your grade, so keep that in mind. And then the projects. So the projects, you will have at least 1 project per module, sometimes more than 1. And again, just keep in mind that the projects cannot be accepted more than 5 days after the due date with a late penalty also. The advice I can give you on projects is do not wait until the last minute. These take time. And sometimes you have questions, and if you email me and tell me that you have a question at 11:58 and it's due at 11:59 p.m., there's not much we can do about it, right? So what I would advise you to do is start early. It's really important with the projects. Okay, the grading scale should look familiar to you. A couple other things I want to point out. Please take the time to read through this in detail. But one thing I want to demonstrate, I want to talk about is your technical approach, right? What happens if you have a technical problem? In other words, what happens if the internet is down? What happens if your hardware crashes? Do you have a backup plan? And I'm going to ask you to explain what your backup plan is. The other thing I want to point out, this is the course policies section of the syllabus. And most of what you'll find in this section applies to all of your courses, but I do want to highlight the academic integrity policy. I take this very seriously, and what's important here is you must be doing your own work. If a student copies an assignment from another student, I get a notification immediately through your ebook that there's been an integrity violation. They are easy to detect on these digital files, so keep that in mind. And you will get a 0 if that's the case. I know that there are several internet tools out there, right? There's the internet, there's AI chatbots, etc. You should be using these as a reference, but you shouldn't just be copying and pasting from those sites. Okay. And I think I already mentioned the tutoring. The only thing I wanted to point out again about the tutoring, I didn't actually take you to the site, but if you click on that link, there are tutors for this course. You can click on this button here, make an appointment, and it will bring up their schedule, and you can make an appointment. Now, I am open to you asking me questions. I'm happy to answer any questions you have on the projects, on the assignments, but sometimes the tutoring is very helpful because you'll have a dedicated person meeting with you. Okay. Back to the course information section, I just want to go through a couple other things you're going to see in this section here. On the course schedule, as I said, there's also a link from the table of contents. There's a couple things to keep in mind. Sim books and projects are typically due on Tuesdays. Discussions. Your initial post is typically due on a Friday, and then your response to one classmate is due on Tuesdays. So generally speaking, Tuesdays are your most popular due date, if you will. And then finally, quizzes, they'll be open Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So your course schedule is as follows. And I'm just going to highlight the first two things. In the course information section that we're looking at right now, there are two things that need to be completed by January 27th. The first module has a quick turnaround time of 1 week, January 27th on this one as well. And the responsibilities you have in here are a discussion, a sim book, just to give you some exposure on how to use a sim book and how to work with one. And then I would like you to go ahead and install Microsoft Office 365 on your home computer. And so all of this is explained within the module. But I just wanted you to see the schedule so you know what you're working with. Okay, going back, how the course is organized, please take the time to read through this. It talks a little bit about where you can find things. Class communication, I already mentioned. Email is the best form of communication, and you can email right through Brightspace, or you can email me directly from your T-Wolves. Setting up notifications. So notifications out of Brightspace, sometimes you'll get too many. You can turn them on and off, so this explains how to do that. Brightspace has an app. It's called Brightspace Pulse. Student feedback, what I've heard from my students is that it's very helpful to keep track of due dates, but you can't complete your sim books, your projects, your quizzes through the app. You'll have to do that on a computer. And then finally, these are the two things I was talking about as being due on January 27th in the course information section. That's the academic integrity. Please read it and answer a question indicating that you have read it. And then technology backup plan. I'm just asking that you explain what your backup plan is and what you plan to do if you lose internet access. Okay, I think that's about it for this section. You should now move on to Module 1.